You and I both covered the Blackhawks. We covered another Stanley Cup season. And then comes the story that last night Justin Bieber, he stepped on the logo while a photo was being taken and stuff like that. A real big deal was made out of that today. And I know our afternoon show, they were saying that in their opinion, this now means anybody should be allowed to touch that Indian since Justin Bieber did.
Yeah, you tell some of those players, you know how it is in that locker room after a game. You can't touch that with your feet. They'll scream at you.
Nobody louder than a former Hawk, Dustin Byfuglien. He used to go bananas when anybody was near that thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, there were no players in that locker room, and I don't think anybody would have told Bieber to get his you-know-what off the logo. I don't even know if the Hawk representatives that were surrounding him, supposedly, they said, excuse me, after the fact, you can't do that, and he supposedly backed off. But, this is just a goofy story. That's all I can say on that one.
And a lot of people are not aware that he played there last night. Well,
you were there.
Yeah, well, how come people were saying he was even there? Well, he kind of made a lot of money last night. A lot more money than you and I will see in, not only 1 year, but maybe in who knows how many years. I mean, you play a sold-out United Center and make an awful lot of money that way. And this guy right now, if you're about an 8 to 10-year-old girl, you're red hot with them.
Let me ask you, Les. I mean, you would almost have to pay me to go see him, but you went and you paid money. What was it like?
It was interesting. It was better than Lady Gaga.
Well, that's not saying anything to me.
That's like saying one of my worst migraines, and I get some bad ones, are probably better than having a compound fracture on both legs.
Okay.
I mean, the Lady Gaga thing was just hideous. It was awful. It was a absolutely pitiful attempt for her to a bad imitation of Madonna, okay? And Madonna, sensational compared to Lady Gaga. I went last night. Kathy wanted to go. She likes the kid, enjoys some of his music, so I took her. And again, she went to a lot of things that I wanted to see that she wasn't crazy about going. One was Neil Diamond. She enjoyed it, though, as it all came down. I mean, she got a kick out of the way everybody reacted to Sweet Caroline, stuff like that. I don't think she was that anxious to see Aerosmith and Cheap Trick, but she went because I wanted to go. So, I go to things she wants to go. She goes to things I want to go. We try to compromise, et cetera, et cetera. And I promised her I'd take her, so I did.
Yeah, as I told you yesterday, that's the definition of love. But let me ask you this question. Did you recognize any music that this kid was singing last night?
Yeah, two of them. I mean, that one song, Beauty and the Beast, that he does with Nicki Minaj, he sang that. I certainly have heard that enough times. And she wasn't there, but there was a video in the background of her there.
I wouldn't recognize any of his songs. I just have no idea what he does.
And the song Baby, Baby, Baby was one of his biggest hits. We left before that one. I mean, we had to get out of there because we had to beat traffic. I wanted to get her home and get back down here to do the show last night. So the key was to get out of there. But I had no intention, if it wasn't for the fact she wanted to go, of going to this thing. It wouldn't have happened. Let's start out heading down to Midlothian. Hello, Ron. Good morning.
Hey, how you doing, Les? I'll be real brief. You could get other callers on. I just want to make a quick comment about the Bieber situation, about the logo.
Go ahead.
Okay. I don't know how long that logo has been on the floor of the locker room, probably, obviously, since they moved into the United Center. I don't know if it was at the old stadium.
It was not that way. They did have it in there, but not – I mean, the old stadium locker room, that was pretty small.
Okay, well, I heard a point on one newscast. I forgot which one it was, and it does make sense. And, once again, not trying to be disrespectful, but if it is so special, and obviously it is, why do they have it on the floor to begin with?
That's what we all wonder. But you know what they do in the playoffs, don't you? They have like they kind of put a little barrier around it so that nobody and it's 360 degrees. It encircles that area where the logo is, and no media members then will step on it because.
And that leads me to my next point. By the way, I got a quick question after this comment about the way the scheduling is set up with interleague play, and I'll be real brief with that. But anyway, one more point about the conditioning of this or cordoning off of this logo. It's like when a president, whoever the president is, or a dignitary of the United States goes to another country, they usually brief the person as to the protocol about shaking hands and bowing and things in that order. Once again, I'm not comparing apples and oranges, but really they should do the same thing with, if it is that special, if they have anybody other than a player or anybody in the media in the locker room, make sure that they do know. So basically what I'm trying to say is the Hawks management dropped the ball with this.
Which is unusual because they're usually pretty sharp on things. I mean, this is a very intelligent, very smart organization with really good people.
It definitely
and
is.
I deal with these people year-round, and I trust me, they didn't want to see that, and I thought they handled it properly. And by all accounts, I guess Justin could have been more of a gentleman with regard to that as well. I mean, the kid's 19 years old anyway, and I know he knows about hockey protocol because he's from Canada. Let's go on Interstate 94. Hello, Tim.
Hi, Les. How you doing?
Good. What's going on, Tim?
All right, I want to talk about Christian.
312-644-6767. From the 815 area code, Hawks are now cursed like the Cubs' goat curse. Remember this text. I'm going to forget this text because there is no such thing as a curse. Okay, it doesn't exist. And how can the Hawks be cursed? They've won 2 Stanley Cubs over the last 4 seasons. And in addition to that, I mean, the Cubs haven't won squat since 1908. Hawks, and there's no such thing as a curse, a hex, or anything like that anyway. So much that. From the 773 area code. Makes me sick as a diehard Hawks fan that I can't get near the cup yet. Bieber, who was wearing a Kings hat when they played the Hawks, could get right by it. Yeah, I see what you're saying. And a lot of that has to do with because who he is. He's a big name, especially if you're a teenage or even a pre-teenage girl. I mean, that's what it was like out there last night, 2 nights ago now. 708, Justin Bieber played hockey. He knew better. Also from the 708, is Bieber standing on the logo and touching the cup really news? I need to stop following sports. Well, you're talking the Stanley Cup champs. And he performed in the building of the Stanley Cup champs. And he's from Canada. 773. What the thing with Bieber and the Hawks Indian? Don't players get fines if they do that? I think you're right. I think they do have a kangaroo court, but the players are very, very conscious of that thing. 920, if teams don't want people walking on their logos, don't put them on the floor in the middle of the room, says Trucker Adam. Yeah, others have said the same thing. 219, Justin Bieber, you switch from L.A. Kings to Chicago, as well as being all about the Heat. Stay loyal to one team, talent bandwagon jumper. Justin Bieber, go back to Canada. I think he's going to take a few hits on And For That You Suck. We're going to start lining you up for And For That You Suck. That's coming up shortly. In about as soon as we have the next update, and that's coming up shortly. 219 text. This is directed toward Adam Harris, who is off tonight. This past day was Adam's birthday, and he took the night off. And Kevin Zepak working. He says, Kevin, you have to confirm this. I think Les is lying. He got his Bieber T-shirt on, doesn't he? You want to go ahead and confirm what I'm wearing shirt-wise?
It's definitely not a Justin Bieber T-shirt. I really wish it was. But it looks to just be a normal salmon-colored button-up shirt.
Keep wishing. Not going to happen. Of course, it's just a piece of cloth. But the amazing is they were selling T-shirts, not golf shirts, not T-shirts out there. They were like $35. Those things cost about 75 cents to make. And they were selling for $35. You think I was going to spend 35 cents on that thing? Guess again. 312-644-6767. This is Score. From area code 219, I'd like to say Justin Bieber sucks, but I suck for giving this no-talent hack airtime by sending this text. Signed, Kevin from LaPorte. So for that, he says Justin Bieber. For once, let's go right back to it here now with area code 773 with Castro locked up at shortstop. What do you think the Cubs will do with Baez? Move him to third? So you're saying the way Castro's playing?
You suck!
And also, from area code 773, what would happen if they won in the United Center and they put the guard around the logo celebrating? Probably nothing. Probably nothing because they won the conference championship there from San Jose 3 years ago, and this year they won it over the Los Angeles Kings. And there was no problem there, and there was a lot of media there for that as well. Area code 773, a simple Justin Bieber for that.
You know something? You suck.
Let's go up to Northbrook. Daniel, what's going on?
Hello.
Let's go to Evanston. Hi, Pete. 312-644-6767. You got to listen. Otherwise, you're going to be dumped in the river very quickly. Don't have time for this. Really don't. Let's go to back to the text screen. And again, if you want to take part in and for that, you suck. 312-644-6767. Area code 773. Justin Bieber has no right to ever touch the Stanley Cup. Therefore, for that, Justin Bieber.
You suck! You just suck! Plain out and simply, you suck!
We knew he was going to be a big target tonight. And that's certainly the case here so far. No doubt about that. From area code 773, makes me sick as a diehard Hawks fan that I can't get near the cup yet. Bieber, who was wearing a Kings hat, can. So for that, Justin Bieber, for that. Suck! Wonder if Tiger Woods would really think that as well. We also have some more text messages here. From area code 708, Les, the Blackhawks will have a hard time with some of the players that they've lost. Well, we'll see about that. I'm not so sure about that. More hits directed at Justin Bieber from the 815 area code. Justin Bieber for existing at all.
So, I suck.
You suck or Justin sucks? Hard to say. And directed in the area of Adam Harris. And this one really makes sense.
Happy birthday, you suck.
It was his birthday yesterday, and 26 years old is Adam Harris. So we'll see how relaxed and rested he is coming back to this one. From the 219, it's beautiful you took Kathy to the Bieber contest, but you still went to the Bieber contest. So this is directed at me, and I knew this was going to probably come. I wasn't going to even mention it, but David Schuster kind of did, and I could have hit the dump button, but I didn't. So I guess for going at all.
You're the inventor of the suck.
Uptown. Hi, Mike.
Hello, Les. I'm here.
Mike, how are you?
I'm fine, Les. Everything's good, I'm happy to say.
That's always a good thing.
Yeah, it sure is. I want to say something about the Blackhawks and their logo, but because I'm going to take a shot at them. So first I'll say something complimentary about the Blackhawks. You know, a few years ago they were using that slogan, commit to the Indian.
Yeah, that was Dennis Savard who said that out of frustration because they were playing poorly, and he says it's time for these guys to commit to the Indian. And so Savvy was the guy that actually was the first to say that.
That's probably the best slogan I ever heard, ever. And if you're not a Blackhawk, then as you go through life, commit to something, you know? Just don't go through life half-stepping.
Commitment is a good thing.
But anyway, enough of the philosophy. Anyway, I don't think the players care much about that logo. I think they just use it to harass people that aren't part of the Blackhawks organization, you know? Like if some writers come in from some different city, then they get on their case about stepping on the Indian.
Yeah, but if a local writer or broadcaster or whatever steps on, they'll get on them too. I can tell you that firsthand.
Yeah.
Anybody that touches even the edge of one of the feathers on that logo and a player sees that, you're going to hear from them.
But Les, they don't care nothing about the Stanley Cup because they all stand around and take a whiz in it. So they don't care.
All right. Thanks a lot. 312-644-6767. Oh, me, oh, my. Okay. From the 773, to stray away from the obvious Bieber, the Cubs for wanting fireworks in Wrigley Field. For that? Yeah, what do people think about that? Talk about something that would be totally different. Kevin, how are the streaming?
I just reset the computer, so it should be back up within the next couple minutes.
Cool. That would be cool. 773, if you're over 30 and go to a Justin Bieber contest for that.
I suck.
Again, I was doing my good deed for the day. And so that's the way it works. And you know what? I don't apologize for that either. I should probably say, for those that criticize me for trying to do a good deed, indeed. 312-644-6767. Mick, hang on. We're coming to you next here on Score Overnight.
Yeah, man.
It is 1:20 here on Chicago Sports Radio. 670. The Score. Area code 630. To the caller who said, get the logo off the floor, this is supposed to teach players respect for the Indian. And who do they play for? So, basically, for that...
Hey, you! Yeah, you suck!
Let's now go to Aurora. Hello, Mick.
Hey, Les, how you doing?
What's going on, Mick?
Not too much. I think Dwight going to the Rockets was a huge move. And, not too many people are talking about it, because they think since he went to the Lakers and it didn't work out with him and Kobe, that it won't work out with anybody else. Full move.
312-644-6767. From area code 708, I think anyone who still writes checks at a store and holds everyone behind them in line sucks.
But turns out I suck.
People have never liked it when people wrote checks in line. Never liked it. Never liked it. And if there is a long line behind them and they're writing a check and they don't have it ready to go, yeah, people are going to be all over them. They have never been popular in a situation like that. From area code 260. Les, who's worse? Knucklehead Bieber stepping on the Indian logo or Jim Belushi lifting the cup over his head, says Cherville Steve. I guess he's saying basically that both of them... Well, I'll tell you what, I would say Justin stepping on the logo is probably worse. I mean, at least Jim Belushi, and I know a lot of you don't like him. I get that. I understand it. A lot of you don't know him either. I do know the guy. He's really a good guy. But everybody wants him to be his late brother, John, and unfortunately, that's just not going to happen. But he is a Blackhawk fan. He wants the Blackhawks to win. Wants to see them win the cup, and he was excited that they did. He's a guy from the Chicago area. I believe he's from the Balushi family is from Wheaton. Justin Bieber, like we said, he's not a Blackhawk fan. He's not from around here. He had an L.A. Kings cap on, and then he had a Miami Heat cap on as well. So, I mean, come on. There's nothing that can be compared with regard to the two. A15, Les, great show, but my suck goes to you because everybody loves you and stop playing and stop staying humble because you are humble, whatever. Please stop playing Usher. A lot of people like Usher, though.
It certainly does suck.
But again, that's just depends on what you're talking about here. Let's try going out to Grundy County. Jason?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Full moon.
124 here on the score. 312-644-6767. From the 219, let's sacrifice Bieber on the logo to prevent a curse. There is no curse. It doesn't exist. Doesn't exist at all. 224, it may be absurd for some, but there are traditions that must be kept. Not stepping on the Hawks logo is one of them. I get that too. I totally get that. We had an interesting, and for that you suck. Most people were taking shots at Justin Bieber because he stepped on the Blackhawk Indian head logo when he was there and stuff. And then I was going to keep it quiet, but David Schuster kind of spilled the beans anyway. I took Kathy to see that show a couple of nights ago now, and I did it. She wanted to go, and I basically, I took one for the team, as they say. Would I have gone on my own? No.
Same with Lady Gaga when you went to see Gaga.
Same thing,
ago,
but she did not necessarily want to go see Neil Diamond, but she went because I wanted to go.
Okay, let me ask you this.
And she enjoyed that.
Can you admit, did you like the Bieber concert? Because you know what? When I saw Lady Gaga with a girl, because it was a girl, and I wanted to go with the girl because the girl wanted to go, and that's good when you do that for a girl. I actually enjoyed the Lady Gaga concert.
I couldn't stand it.
Really? I thought it was entertaining. I think she's talented. I thought it was a good show.
I thought she was a poor imitation of Madonna.
Yeah. See, you're too loyal to Madonna.
No, I'm not. I just thought she was a Madonna wannabe.
I don't know. I think she's got more like raw talent than Madonna. Actually, Madonna has. I think Madonna might have a higher. I would definitely say that Madonna has a higher overall entertainment factor about her. But Gaga, I think, has more actual. The
problem of both of them,
singing talent.
The problem with both of them, they both get too political. But I think Lady Gaga takes it to a different level.
Really? I didn't notice that about Gaga, at least during that concert. I didn't.
Oh, what were you watching?
I don't remember. What, like all the little props she had up? I don't remember.
The props
that
were
political.
nothing. The props were actually cute. I'm talking, there's things that I don't want to talk about on the air here.
Okay, because I don't remember, like actual politics?
Kind of?
Okay, I don't remember. I remember a lot of hilarious costumes and
stuff about lifestyles and stuff.
I remember. Yeah, okay, I remember that.
We were there to hear music, not listen to that.
Yeah, there was some rants too about. She was like one long rant about how she didn't lip sync. I remember that. Like
that's fine. That's cool.
Yeah, but I don't know why.
She was basically proving she was not Milli Vanilli or phony baloney.
Right. But I don't know. I enjoyed that concert. I mean, I don't know that I would
when Milli Vanilli
again,
got caught, they should have changed their name to Phony Baloney, because that's what they were.
More like Phony Baloney.
630 texter says, "Wow, Les, I was taking one for the team when I had to go see Toby Keith in concert, but Bieber, you the man, grabber." Actually, about 8 years ago, we went and saw Toby Keith in Rosemont at Allstate Arena, and you know what was really cool there? This is when bin Laden was still alive, and he had some visuals just trashing Osama bin Laden. The crowd just went nuts.
Well, wasn't there a band that once said you did it all for the nookie? You know, grabber, going to those concerts.
Well, people can say what they want.
No, it's good. I think, honestly, that's really cool that you
But
two
she went with me to show she wasn't going to go to either.
That's why you guys have an awesome relationship.
That's what compromise is all about, and then you try to enjoy it too. I took her to see Fleetwood Mac. She loved it.
If I ever get married, I want you to give the speech at my wedding, and I want it to be about that, about compromise and what it's all about.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Here is my marital status. Now let me finish here.
Okay. I'm turning off the mic. Go.
3 up, 3 down. No runs, no hits, 3 errors, and nobody left.
Oh, wait a minute. You blame yourself? You give yourself all the errors?
But I didn't say no score.
Les Grobstein. So that's why this one this one you can call a girlfriend, right?
Yeah, that's what it is.
And maybe it's stories like that that has kept me unmarried.
No, you're just smart.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
Just remember that old line from Curly of the Three Stooges.
Well, here we go. You ready?
Are you married or happy?
That's not bad.
And look, My sister's been married to the same guy, and they have a wonderful marriage going since the early 80s. They just do it right.
Right. I have two brothers who have wonderful wives and families and all that kind of stuff. And that's why I always tell my mom, I said, Mom, what do you need me to get married for? What do you need my grandkids for? You got two. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way with her, though.
It can work. My parents were married from 1951 until when my dad passed away in late 85.
My parents are still married. They just had their 40th anniversary. So,
God bless them. Yeah. That's awesome.
No, and they're just as happy as they've ever been. So I see happy marriages every day of my life.
Now, wait a minute here. I got a text message here at 670-11-847. Chris Cook tweeted that you come closest to stepping on the Indian head of all reporters. True?
Me?
No, me.
Oh.
Maybe, but I don't step on it.
I did once. Everybody has. I was listening to Boris and Bernstein talking about that, and there was so many people who had stories about. There was actually a reporter that called their show yesterday. I want to say from St. Louis, who said he had an experience stepping on. I did too, because it was the first team that I covered under the Mike Smith era. It was when Brian Sutter was.
Speaking of a goof.
Oh man. Oh, completely. But actually, I liked Mike Smith was a goof, and he didn't have the right philosophy in getting players because it was all about Russians.
Jerk.
I actually got along with the guy though very well.
You're the one, huh?
He was always really good to me. Like
You're the one?
Oh, I'd pull him aside in the hallway, and he would talk to me for probably because he didn't recognize me. And
probably because nobody else did want to talk to him.
Well, he'd probably worn out his welcome with everybody else. You're probably
People
right.
say a lot of things about Pulford, and I'm one of them. But Pulford is at least a nice enough guy, a friendly enough guy to talk to. I got to tell you, my patience is about to run out. I don't know how many times he said that when he was a coach.
I had no problem with those guys. That was when nobody was really paying attention, but
except me.
Yeah, I would cover them, and I remember I stepped on the law. I had no idea. I did no idea of this rule, and I was just. And they don't even do it in a friendly way. It's, get off that thing.
There were several players that have done it, but you know who was the most vocal and just very vehement about it? Was Dustin Byfuglien.
Really?
And I mean, here's Big Buff coming over, and he looked like he was going to just ram you over.
That must be the first thing they drill into their heads when they come to the Blackhawks. Like that must be like it must not be just some parenthetical thing, you know. It's like
and Denny Savard.
Like there's a whole page on "Don't Step on the Indian Head" in the Blackhawks work manual.
Denny Savard started the respect the Indian line per se.
Oh yeah.
And
commit to the Indian.
Commit to the Indian, exactly. And this is when they were struggling, and he was just dead serious about it.
Oh yeah, no, some of his post games were so impassioned. I remember him like trying to bring everybody together, including the media. I remember him saying, "Hey gang, we're all in this together." The media, and the media's looking at like, really? We're in on this with you too?
224 texter, listen to this one.
Uh-oh.
For standing on that logo in the locker room. Bieber should be put in a room with Carcillo, Mayers, and Shaw. Have at it, boys. And I'll tell you what, they're all good guys. I mean, Jamal Mayers is a great guy, and you don't want to get into it with him. I mean, here's a guy who is – I mean, he didn't play much in the playoffs, but he was decent during the regular season, and he was a team player. He would drop the gloves to stand up for his teammates.
I would prefer not to get into a physical altercation with any of those guys.
You don't want to get into it with Carbomb either.
No, he'd probably be the least desired to get into a confrontation with. I would have to imagine. He seems like the crazy one of the bunch.
You know, take those three and bring back Big Buff for just one particular set and put Bieber in the room with all those guys.
Well, Big Buff is bigger than ever, though. Big Buff has gone from sort of a good big to a bad big.
815, Les, did you spill coffee on the Indian head? Oh, boy.
All over the Indian head.
Absolutely.
Can you imagine that? I mean, geez. What if you stain the Indian head, let alone putting your dirty feet on there?